Who wants to do the honor? I'll do it. You do it? There we go. Ready? Lights, camera, action. I know.
Oh, sorry.
We need cameras. So we get some people in here. Okay. There we go. Alrighty. Good evening. Welcome to the City of Hialeah Planning and Zoning Board meeting for Wednesday, August 13th, 2025. Everyone, please rise for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear Lord, thank you for the opportunity to serve our city and our constituents. Please grant us the wisdom to do the right decision for all of us. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Meeting guidelines. The following guidelines apply to today's Planning and Zoning Board meeting. Any person, whether participating via the web platform, telephonic conferencing, or physical presence at City Hall, interested in making comments or posing questions on any item of the agenda may do so during the meeting. Members of the public may hear the meeting live through telephonic conferencing using any telephone or cellular phone service. A smart device or computer are not necessary to participate in the meeting if you join by phone. All persons participating via the web platform will be muted during the meeting until called upon to be heard. Participation through Zoom requires a computer or smart mobile device with a microphone and web camera. The participant may elect to participate in the meeting using audio only or appear through both audio and video. The video function of all participants appearing through video will be turned off until called upon to be heard. Excuse me. All lobbyists must register with the Planning and Zoning Board prior to item being heard. A maximum of 4 speakers in favor and 4 speakers in opposition will be allowed to address the Planning and Zoning Board on any item. Each speaker's comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Roll call. Mr. Perez?
Here.
Mr. Mason is absent. Mr. Iglesias?
Here.
Mr. Ulloa?
Here.
Mr. Morales?
Here.
Mrs. Enriquez? Here. We have a quorum.
Okay.
Administration of oath to all applicants and anyone who will be speaking before the board on any item.
Anyone and everyone that's going to speak in front of the board, that includes you too, Frank. Please stand, raise your hand.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth before this board? ¿Usted jura o afirma decir la verdad ante esta junta?
Yes? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Frank. I see you. All right, you may sit down.
Summary minutes or a copy of the audio file of the proceedings before the Planning and Zoning Board shall be prepared and submitted to the City Council at a scheduled meeting. The Planning and Zoning Board recommendations for the following public hearing requests will be heard by the City Council at a scheduled meeting of Tuesday, August 26, 2025. LU1, small-scale map amendment from low-density residential to transit-oriented development district. Properties located at 991 East 21st Street, Hialeah zoned R1, one-family district. Applicant Manny Reos, architect on behalf of Rios Investment Group, Corp.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Manny Rose Architect with offices at 18501 Pines Boulevard, Suite 342, Pembroke Pines, Florida.
Thank you, sir.
The subject property is located at the northwest intersection of East 21st Street and East 10th Avenue and falls within the boundaries of the Hialeah Transfer Station Transit-Oriented Development, TOD, Master Plan. The property is currently designated as a low-density residential on the city's future land use map. This application is accompanied by a companion rezoning request seeking to rezone the property to permit the development of a 3-story, 9-unit multifamily residential building. The parcel measures 6,613 square feet or 0.15 acres, which under the TOD land use designation allows for a base density of 36 units per net acre. The transfer station master plan aims to intensify development around the Hialeah transfer station transit hub, which serves by Tri-Rail, Metro Rail, and a future coastal link connections. The subject site's proximity to this major transit infrastructure make it ideal candidate for urban density intensification. East location supports the goal of the TOD master plan by promoting a more walkable urban environment, reducing reliance on personal vehicles, and encouraging public transportation as a primary mode of mobility. As a corner lot directly adjacent to a transportation infrastructure to the north and within walking distance of community services such as the Hialeah Hospital, the property is well positioned to support a moderate increase in residential density consistent with the TOD land use designation. The site locations at the edge of the district provide a natural transition point between single-family neighborhoods and a higher density transit-oriented development area. The property is currently serviced by pump station number 04-009, which is in okay status and conditional location allowed, and both water and sewer infrastructure meet the adopted level of service. This project will be required to meet concurrency to satisfy school, traffic, parks, and police impacts through impact fees and additional engineering review, including hydraulic analysis and potential utility upgrades at the developer's expense. The proposed land use amendment is consistent with the city comprehensive plan, including the following elements. Future land use element, goal 4, and associated policies promoting infill, TOD, and transit accessibility. Transportation element, goal 1, objective 1.5, promoting multimodal transit, policies 1.5.3 and 1.5.4. Housing element, goal and objective 1.1 and 2.2, supporting increased housing options near transit. And infrastructure and concurrency elements, policies ensuring adequate public facilities. Given the site's location within the TOD footprint and master plan boundaries, the ability of housing incentives to promote transit-oriented infill, and the absence of any identified adverse impacts to the public infrastructure, the requested land use amendment is recommended for approval.
Thank you. Manny?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. As the zoning director explained, this is going to be a low-scale, 3-story apartment building on the corner. The basic design of it has been oriented towards the corner site to stay away as much as possible with the design features from the residential adjacent. We have, like she said, the lady said, 3 stories. We have 7 one-bedroom units and 2 two-bedroom units. We comply with mostly everything, especially the parking. The setbacks in the front, we're required to have 17, and we're providing 14 feet 4 inches to the edge of the balconies, not the building. Parking is okay, like I said, and the lot coverage, we're allowed to have 60%, and we're at 62%. We feel that this is a very nice project for the area, and it will be an icebreaker for future developments within the area, within the TOD boundaries. If anybody has any questions, please ask me of them.
You're the man to ask, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Comments or questions?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Chair. It's not directed at you, Manny, but how long is the TOD thing gonna be going on, and how wide is this? Because I'm not against your project or anything, but I keep seeing houses getting torn down, and we keep building more and more apartments. And I'm not, too crazy about all these apartments going up, especially, I don't mind. It'd be like a nice plan if we tear down 2-3 blocks. And, you do a big plan and you do a big project with all these apartment buildings. So everything looks more conjoined. But these, tearing down 2-3 houses and building a little quadruplex here. Tear down 2-3 houses, and then there's still houses around and more quadruplexes. Hasta cuando? Because it looks terrible to me. I just, I think that we should have a little bit better of a design than just, little quadruplexes or 3-story apartments every so often we tune all these houses. Can't you do something a little bit more organized or?
Through the chair, so
Yeah.
I think what we can,
One second.
Sure.
Your question, just so that I can clarify, your question is, one part of your question is you want to know what the boundaries are
Yeah.
of the TOD, okay?
Sure.
And then you touch on the building and the sporadic
Yeah,
spotting.
I think
Okay.
it's kind of sloppy, and I think that maybe we should plan this better to make it more cohesive and make the city more beautiful instead of these little things everywhere. And it's not, I don't know, I just don't see it. If we're gonna do a big project and we knock down all these houses and we do one big project in the spot, una casita, un apartamentico next to una casita. I don't know. I know that we got to develop that area
Right.
because I've walked through that area, and that area is falling apart. All these houses in that area, a lot of them, are in shambles. And what they're doing with these houses, I know that we gotta do something about that. But the way that we're doing it with these little apartments, every
Well,
other.
She'll
spot,
be able to give you
it's
the,
terrible to me.
she'll be able to give you the perimeters,
Yeah.
okay, on a more precise base. As far as the second part of your question is, they can only purchase what the owners sell. They can't just go and, blanket, knock everything down.
Right, so what we can do is actually is a presentation of the master plan, of the TOD master plan. So you have basically a boundary. We can prepare a map to show you and everything and see what is,
Included in my package.
and
It's included in my package.
right, exactly. But what I'm saying is in general, not just specific to your property, because his question is in general for the entire, district area. So what we can do is bring a map and a presentation for the entire, if you want, the two TOD districts that we have in the city currently. The other component to your question is that assemblage of land is one of the most difficult components whenever the developers and the architects and the designers, they have to put together, because you have to go into assembly one by one, by them out, literally, okay? So it's not going to be an imposition from the city. We give them the regulations, what they have and what the developers can do, but it's private properties in that moment. So that assemblage of that is what is difficult. And some of developers are more successful than other ones, and we have seen it in the metro, parks and all those projects. But in other ones, it's going to be more difficult. Definitely, I agree with you that there's going to be some discrepancies between, what we have in here, for example, the 3 stories, and then they're next to a single family home. But eventually that transition will go over time. If not, we have a developer that is able to assembly the entire block by block.
That's exactly what I'm, because I see Miami, Coconut Grove, they're doing development. I drive by that area and everywhere. Our development seems like little pieces, and it's concerning to me, because I'm like, it doesn't look nice. It looks ugly.
It's typically whenever you have an area in transition,
Yeah.
I understand that it looks ugly because there is discrepancies between what is the old and what is the new, and that is the nature of the transition.
Yeah, I'm not expecting us to have high rises everywhere, but I'm thinking about, why can't we make it limited? Okay, you want to develop here, it has to be X amount of size. Bigger plans instead of these little units, because I think we have enough of these quadruplexes.
Well,
And,
then it
you know,
becomes
duplex.
and also an area, for example, in this corner, because it's in the outer boundaries where you only have 3 stories. So in comparison to the other ones that are next to the transit station, where you have the 12 story buildings. So of course, you don't want to have the higher building in that corner. You want to have the higher buildings next to the transfer station, fronting the avenue or fronting the street that it has the major, vehicular transit and everything. And then towards the boundary, go, like a wedding cake, the wedding cake effect that you have different tiers. So, the closer to the station, the station, it's the denser that you have and the taller that you have, and then you're going to go tier down. So this is basically the product towards, the lower end of the wedding cake effect.
Okay.
If I may add, John, we as
Manny,
architects,
don't get me wrong. I'm not against
No.
your project. I totally support your project, and I see what you guys have done, and I like your work before. I just want to see the city doing something bigger and better instead of all these little. I've seen so many quadruplexes and duplexes that I think that we have enough of those. I think if we're
Well-
gonna build something, let's develop something. Let's go big, or let's
But
leave the
maybe-
houses alone, because
maybe the zoning department should concentrate on the adjacent homes that are
Yeah.
back to back with the railroad track, and then maybe change the zoning there to incorporate a staggering effect that the director is implying.
yeah, maybe
You
something
know,
like that.
And then if you look across the street on the east side, we have warehouses, look horrible.
Oh, no, yeah. That's all gotta go. For
So-
sure. I'm in favor of developing, but I would like to see something that's gonna make our city look bigger and better. Like, what Doral is doing. Why can't we go, maybe, we're not Doral, but let's build some things like that. Make us look a little bit more.
We'll bring next week actually the plans for the TOD, the master plan, and see the boundaries, and then identify what is the product that it could potentially come. So basically have like a volume, exercise for those areas.
What I see that we're doing, we're just replacing the efficiencies with everything that we're placing. These are just efficiencies on 3 stories.
Well,
Looks like to me.
I kind of see your point. I'm with you now. But the flip side of that, John, is we can't require the developers
I
to
totally
go,
understand
to
that,
go
yeah.
buy a whole block,
Yeah.
okay? Because, you know,
But-
because
but you-
people won't sell. However, when they do buy the entire block, like they did on 25th, 26th, 27th, between 10th and 8th and all of that, and right here by the Hialeah Hospital, some eyebrows are raised because, my God, look at the monstrosities this is they're building. So it's like, you know,
Yeah, no, but I prefer some monstrosity like the one that we built by Hialeah Hospital than quadruplexes to destroy little houses. You know, I feel about saving our houses.
right.
You know, I want to save the Hialeah houses,
Mm.
and I don't want to see that many apartment buildings, but the transit district, I guess it's got to go that way. It is what it is.
John,
But I'd like
also-
to see some
John.
bigger projects.
John, if I may interlude quickly, Hialeah is a very old city.
Yeah.
The sphere, the footprint of Hialeah cannot be compared to mostly hardly any municipality around us, where they, like Doral, bought it or whatever from Dade County, and then when they took over, they established certain criteria that we did not do here in Hialeah. Hialeah is surrounded by very, very old neighborhoods that, you know, are changing in because of where we're at right now. So Hialeah is not comparable to any other city.
No, I
or-
get you.
You know, it's a very old city, which is very spread out.
But I would like to see less of this and bigger projects. But I keep on going, so let's leave it at that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anything else? Anyone else? Anyone in the audience? Anyone in the electronic audience? Closes the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve. And I'll second that one for you, Manny.
Okay, so,
After all that.
okay, motion by Mr. Alessio, second by Mr. Ulloa. Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Item has been approved.
Thank you.
So, Manny, food for thought. Go ahead and buy out the whole block.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You got the monies? There you go. Okay, that closes the land use part of the meeting. So we're going to go ahead and proceed to the regularly scheduled planning and zoning meeting. And everybody's been sworn in and grandfathered, so you're good to go. Go ahead and read it in.
Item number 1, approval of planning and zoning board summary agenda of July 9th, 2025 has submitted.
Motion to approve.
Second that motion?
We had a motion by Mrs. Enriquez, second by Mr. Iglesias. Mr. Perez?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Mr. Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Item has been approved. A written decision and resolution will be prepared and presented for review to the City Council. The City Council is authorized to affirm with conditions, or override the decisions by resolution. After the resolution is adopted, contact a member of the City Clerk's office to obtain a copy of the final decision and resolution. Upon your receipt of the final decision and resolution, contact the Building Department to obtain your required building permit. Summary minutes or a copy of the audio file of the proceedings before the Planning and Zoning Board shall be prepared and submitted to the City Council before its hearing. The Planning and Zoning Board recommendations for the following public hearing requests will be heard by the City Council at its scheduled meeting of Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. Item number 2. Final decision to allow interior north side setback of 4 feet where 7.5 feet are required, and to allow a distance separation of 5.1 feet from the main structure, where 10 feet is the minimum required for the legalization of an existing accessory building. Property is located at 4661 West 8th Court, Hialeah, zoned R1, one family district. Applicant, Daniel Ladron and Elizabeth Maria Hernandez.
Thank you. Name and address, please.
Daniel Ladron, 61 West 8th Court. Clear?
Elizabeth Hernandez.
Same address?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The property in this application is located on the east side of West 8th Court between West 45th Place and West 48th Street. The lot is approximately 7,500 square feet or 0.17 acres. The site is improved with a 1,740 square feet single-family home originally built in 1958, according to Miami-Dade County property appraisals record. The property is designated as a low-density residential on the city's future land use map. The zoning classification is R1, one-family district, which is consistent with therewith. The applicant is before the city requesting the authorization to legalize an existing 183.35 square feet accessory building encroaching into the interior north side setback, providing 4 feet where 7.5 feet are required. The request also includes allowing a distance separations between the accessory building and the main structure of 5.1 feet, where 10 feet is the minimum required. Upon review of the city's microfilms, the records show that a bedroom addition was approved under permit number 2004-2766 and finalized in 2005. Additional permit number 2011-2951 authorized the construction of a 74 square foot utility shed at the rear of the property. After reviewing the submitted site plan in comparison to the approved records, it was noticed that a covered roof was later added to the shed without a building permit. Permit number 2011-581 approved the construction of a pool and a spa. However, no permit was found for the covered terrace depicted on the submitted site plan. According to the provided surveys and plan, the property complies with the minimum pervious area requirements of 30%. Lastly, the submitted floor plan for the accessory structure confirms it is intended only for storage use, which is the only use permitted under the current zoning regulations. Given that the required side setbacks for the accessory structure is 7.5 and the existing setback is 4.1 feet, staff finds that the reduced setback does not negatively impact the adjacent property, as the structure is not built to the property line and is intended solely for storage use. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the request to legalize the existing accessory structure, subject to the following conditions. 1, the applicant shall obtain a building permit for the existing covered terrace, and 2, the aluminum roof added to the 74 square foot shed shall be removed. Recommendation, approval with conditions.
Thank you. Did you, I know it was a little fast, but did you
Yeah.
understand that?
Can we get that in writing somewhere?
Sure, we can give you a copy and I can also just clarify what are the conditions
Yes.
that are being requested. So there are 2 conditions being requested on the property. One is that you obtain a building permit, okay, for the existing covered terrace, so basically legalize it through the building department. And the 2, the aluminum roof that you have attached to the shed, that it needs to be removed
Around the shed, right?
around the shed.
Okay, I think it's, okay, got it, yeah.
You accept those?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You understand
Yes.
the conditions?
Yes,
You agree with them?
yes, sir.
Do you have any comments or questions?
Do we have a timeline on the, on those conditions when we have to? receive
You
it?
do have a code enforcement case, so you do have a timeline, but the timeline is going to be imposed by the code enforcement case that you have active in your property. So you should contact your code officer and get what is the timeline for that.
Okay, sounds good. Thank
Okay,
you.
comments or questions from the board? Anyone in the audience? Anyone in the electronic audience? Closes the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve with condition.
Second the motion?
Okay, we had a motion by Mrs. Enriquez, second by Mr. Iglesias. Mr. Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Perez?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Item has been approved with conditions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
The Planning and Zoning Board recommendations for the following public hearing requests will be heard by the City Council at a scheduled meeting of Tuesday, August 26, 2025. So item number 3 is actually a tabled item from the last meeting. We will need to untable. Motion to remove from table.
Second the motion?
We had a motion by Mrs. Enriquez, second by Mr. Iglesias. Mr. Ulloa?
Yeah.
Mr. Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Perez?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Item must be removed from table. Item number 3, rezoning from R1 One Family District to TOD Transit Oriented Development District. Variance permit to allow a single-use multifamily residential building with 23 units where vertical mix of uses is required. Allow front setback of 15.7 feet where 17 feet are required for the ground floor. Allow front setback of 10.7 feet where 17 feet are required for balconies fronting East 23rd Street. And allow 6.5% pervious area where 10% is the minimum required. Property is located at 924 East 23rd Street, Hialeah zoned R1, one family district. Applicant, Cesar Mestre, Squire on behalf of 1356 West 76th Street LLC.
Good afternoon, Cesar Mestre office is at 8105 Northwest 155th Street, Miami Lakes, Florida. And with me is Manny Reyes, the architect on the project also.
Through the chair, if you recall, this is the application that we had recommended for denial based on the density that the project was presenting. So we met with the applicant and the developer, and we had agreed to certain conditions for the property. So,
The same property that Connecticut spoke for.
no, this is another one.
Down the street from it.
Yes. The subject property is located on the south side of East 23rd Street between East 9th and East 10th Avenues, within the boundaries of the Hialeah Transfer Station Oriented Development, TOD Master Plan. The property measures 13,800 square feet or 0.317 acres and is currently zone R1, one family district. It is improved with what appears to function as a duplex serving two addresses, 920 and 924 East 23rd Street, though no microfilm documentation confirmed this configuration. However, both addresses are referenced in the city's GIS zoning database. This application has a companion land use item that it was approved in our previous meeting to change the property designation from low-density residential to transit-oriented development, TOD. The applicant is requesting to rezone the property from R1 to TOD in order to construct a 4-story multifamily residential building with a mid-rise density of 75 dwelling units per acre. The proposed building is approximately 60 feet and 8 inches in height and will include 23 residential units broken down as follows: 3 2-bedroom units, 17 1-bedroom units, and 3 studio units. The projects provide a total of 25 parking spaces, allocating 1 space per studio and 1-bedroom unit, and 1.5 parking spaces per 2-bedroom unit, consistent with the TOD parking regulations. The rezoning request is accompanied by a variance application seeking the following: allowed a single-use residential building where a vertical mix of uses is required in the TOD zoning regulations, allowed a front setback of 15.7 feet where 17 are required for the ground floor, allowed a balcony front setback of 10.7 feet where 17 are required, allows 6.5 pervious area where the minimum of 10 feet is required. While the proposed development reflects architectural quality and aligns in the spirit with the goals of the Hialeah Transfer TOD Master Plan, namely encouraging transit adjacent density, walkability, and provides for multiple transportation options, the current context of the site presents certain challenges. The subject property is entirely surrounded by R1 zone lots, all of which are developed with single-family homes. However, the applicant has provided compelling arguments about the current conditions of the area and demonstrated that the character of the single-family home has been eroding over the years. Even though the proposed building will be situated between 2 1-story single-family residences to the east and west, creating a contrast in density and height, this neighborhood is in transition as demonstrated a block north of this property where multifamily projects has been constructed adjacent to 1-story single-family structure. In order to alleviate the density of the project, the applicant is proffering 4 residential units, 2 studios, and 2 1-bedroom units to be rented as affordable housing at a price no more than 80% of area median income, AMI. The variance request to provide the project as purely residential in this particular case is beneficial since the lot does not face a major street corner location. The setback variances affect only the frontage of the building, thereby placing the structure closer to the street without impacting neighboring properties. Lastly, the reduction in pervious area will need to be mitigated by installing a drainage system, and the project will also be required to comply with 3 canopy requirements. If the 3 canopies cannot be provided on site, it shall be mitigated accordingly. According to the TOD regulations, the Design Review Committee has reviewed the proposal and is provided the following recommendations: that the applicant is to proffer a declaration of restricted covenants to include 4 residential units, 2 studios, and 2 one-bedroom apartments to be offered for rent at no more than 80% AMI, and that the applicant is to develop the site according to the plans and renderings prepared by Manny Reos Architects, signed and sealed, dated on January 12, 2025. Recommendation: approval with conditions.
Thank you. Caesar?
As the director said, this was something that you guys had last time. We kind of got stuck, but we went back to the drawing board, we met, and now you have a recommendation of approval from staff with conditions. We accept the conditions. It's not a problem. Just as a little bit of background, Mr. Ulloa, that you weren't here last time. My presentation changed because last time what I had was a bunch of aerial pictures of the area that on the map says R1, but you could see consistently every single home pretty much had additions and were basically built out from property line to property line on the sides, property line from the front to property line in the back. That's what they were talking about, the eroding of the residential area. I know that this client in particular tries to look for the bigger lots. If you see, this lot is 13,000 and something square feet. A lot of the lots in the area are 6,000, 7,000, very small. He tries to go with the bigger ones to try to do that. So based on the recommendation, based on the presentation, we ask you for a recommendation of approval. And as an aside, I heard your comments on the other one, and I understand them. But from our perspective, we have this TOD area, and I've read the policies and all the things behind it. And you got to remember, it may not be perfect, because what it's trying to do is allow for more density and close to the transit areas. So yeah, they are going to get rid of those efficiencies, which I showed exist. But now you're going to have at least legal, proper housing for these folks. And then what we did is we're in the TOD, they really don't request affordable housing, but we're going to do 4 of the units as affordable housing to help with the living situation of what's going on. Also, with regards to the size, there's no requirement that a property that's coming in for TOD be a specific size. That may be something that you as a board can try to come up with if you think is going to help, because there is other parts of the code that say, hey, if you want to do this, minimum size has to be X amount of square feet. So something like that.
That'd
Also,
be a great idea.
also what Manny said a minute ago is it's hard to compare cities. And I'm going to give you a perfect example. I'm involved with a South Florida city right now as special counsel. And what we're doing is redistricting, coming up with a whole new district of zoning. But this one owner has 100 acres. And I know that my firm represents the city of Doral. In Doral, you had the same thing. You had large swaths of land that were vacant that were one owner. So those are a lot easier to try to bring up to par or to redevelop or to develop the way that the city sees the vision. But here we're trying to kind of fix something that occurred 50 years ago. So just food for thought.
Yeah. For the chair? I'm not arguing the point of developing and getting apartments and everything. I totally understand that. I just have a thing that I love having ownership of a home.
Yeah.
And by destroying these houses, we're destroying what little bit of houses are going to be left, that maybe we could build smaller houses, affordable houses, so people could take ownership. People could take that land and maybe make, instead of one house on that big lot, maybe make 2 or 3 houses. So people have ownership and feel proud. Townhouses. I'd be super supportive of townhouses. You know, I just want to see people put their roots down in Hialeah. These 1-bedroom apartments and these 2-bedroom apartments, I maybe I'm wrong. It's very transient for me. You know, you're not going to lay down roots if you're in a 1-bedroom apartment. You're going to live here temporarily. You're going to do your job. Then you're going to find a place to move to. Hopefully you'll be able to buy your house or a condominium or something that's going to be able, that you're going to be able to grow with your family and everything with. That's what I would like to see. I would like to see affordable homes not apartments or rentals. And I'm totally, I appreciate you doing that as the affordable part for the rentals. I don't think the government should make that as a recommendation or make you do it. I think you should do it on your own.
Right.
Because I don't think the government should be in the business of telling you that you need to have this as affordable, because I don't like that. I'm totally against that.
But
But
let me tell you.
I would like to see home ownership. I would like to see townhouses. I'm even in favor of condos. But I want to see people lay their roots down in Hialeah and be proud of saying, I live in Hialeah. Now, hey, I'm living in Hialeah temporarily. I'm going to get out of here as soon as I can. That's the way it feels with all these one-bedroom apartments. I want to see people take ownership of the city and be part of the city, and that's what I want to
think
see.
The changes are coming. I just don't think they're fast. But I think in the time that you've been here, we've seen, you would never see a for rent sign anywhere in Hialeah. Now you're seeing them. Clients have told me that the rents have gone down.
Yeah, because there's so
So-
many.
So there's exactly supply and demand. And I believe, like I had told you before it was condo conversions. Every building was being a condo conversion 20 years ago, and they were selling everything. The economy will change and will dictate where these folks that are developing what the product is going to be. And I've heard rumblings that it may be start soon to be
I hope
sales.
it's right, because I would love to see townhouses or affordable housing for people than affordable apartments. People need to take ownership, and there's nothing better than owning your own house.
I agree with you
It's
100%.
one of the greatest feelings in the world, and people should be able to be allowed to experience that. Not oh, you get an affordable apartment and you'll never, unless that's what people dream for.
I just think there's a lot of people with need right now, and folks that are living in those little efficiencies, people living in the sheds, people living in the boats, people living in the RVs. I think this is definitely a step up, and I think the next step is home ownership, hopefully.
Let's hope so.
I do have to commend you on that volunteering, that AMI thing. That's,
We wanted to make sure it got
That-
done and that the city
that
was happy
carry.
and we were happy, so
that carries a lot of weight. I do have a couple of questions for you,
sure.
and they may sound familiar to you, but it's the way it is. Is this project self-contained as far as parking?
Yes,
Everything is within the property, nothing spilling out into the drive, onto the swale?
no, the parking is
On-street
all
parking.
on property.
Okay. Garbage, the dumpster enclosure.
That's one of the things the city requires, so it has to be on property and it has to be closed off.
Okay, so self-sustained. The whole
Yes,
thing is
yes.
good to go.
That's one of the things the architects first look for, a place to put that.
If you remember, that was,
And to make sure that the truck can get in and get out.
yeah.
99% of our projects have a garbage room. I've established a great relationship with a compacting chute company in Wisconsin. The first time I called them like 5 or 6 years ago, why are you calling me from South Florida? Because I'm tired of having the clients, the people that rent, walk down stupid garbage rather than have a chute like you have in a hotel or whatever,
yeah.
and throw it down right into a compactor. Yeah, is it more expensive? Yes, but it's a lot cleaner rather than having into a dumpster. You'll see that 99.9% of our projects have a garbage room, which has a compactor and has a blah, blah, blah. So that's,
Well, that's nice to know. I didn't know that.
yeah.
But my pet peeve is, and you know it right now because you've been bitten by this dog before. Self-sustained,
Yeah.
everything within the property. In fact, one of your projects, last meeting or the one before, had to do with the drainage, and the neighbors were talking about, oh, it's going to.
They weren't properly informed.
Okay, so you see that
Cleared it.
self-sustaining.
And the good thing about this client that we have is that this is a long-term investment for them. These are blue-collar people that have come up in their prestige and work ability. These people work Saturdays and Sunday. These people that are developing these are not people that, drive Mercedeses and just walk, whatever. These are hardworking people and they take pride on what they develop. And this is for a trust or family. So this is important.
Well, be careful when you talk about people that drive Mercedes, because I know a couple of them here that might take offense to that.
These are very good.
Okay.
down-to-earth
All right.
people. That's what I meant.
But you see my point of view. I don't want, whenever a project comes up and it's up for consideration, that is a little bit tight. Okay. I want to make sure that everything is self-sustained within the property. As little as possible or no variances.
Right.
You get my, okay? Thank you. Any comments or questions from the board? Oh, well, I was just corrected. He doesn't drive a Mercedes, but he's still up there. Comments or questions from the audience? All right, anyone in the electronic audience? Closes the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Second that motion.
We had a motion by Mr. Iglesias, second by Mr. Ulloa.
With
Mr. Mar-
conditions, right?
With
Just to clarify.
conditions.
Okay, thank you.
We have we have conditions, right? You agree with those?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Mr. Morales,
Yes.
Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa.
Yes.
Item has been approved with conditions.
Do we have to disclose vehicles that we drive now or?
Hey,
Good job. sir.
there's your man right there. He's the one that stepped in it.
We're gonna talk about cars. I still have the American muscle cars.
That's right. You do have the EMAC or the Mac-E. Mac-E, there you go.
Pattern number 4, rezoning from R1 One Family District to TOD Transit Oriented Development District. Variance permit to allow a single-use multifamily residential building with 9 units where a vertical mix of uses is required. Allow lot coverage of 62% where 60% is the maximum lot coverage allowed for low-rise buildings. Allow front setback of 14.4 feet where 17 feet build-to-line is required. Allow side setback of 0 feet, setback for dumpster enclosure where 2 feet is the minimum required. And allow pervious area of 11% or 15% is the minimum pervious area required. Property is located at 991 East 21st Street, Hialeah, Zones R1, One Family District. Applicant, Manny Rios, architect on behalf of Rios Investment Group, Corp.
Manny Rose Architect with offices at 18501 Pines Boulevard, Suite 342, Pembroke Pines, Florida.
Thank you, sir.
The subject property is located at the northwest intersection of East 21st Street and East 10th Avenue, within the boundaries of the Transfer Station Transit-Oriented Development TOD Master Plan. The property measures 6,613 square feet or 0.15 acres and is currently zoned R1, One Family District. It is a corner lot adjacent to the railroad tracks of the Florida East Coast Railway to the north. Properties to the east are also owned by the Florida East Coast Railway, and properties to the west and south are zoned R1. The applicant is requesting to rezone the property from R1 to TOD in order to construct a 3-story multifamily residential building. The proposed building is approximately 47 feet 6 inches in height and will include a total of 9 residential units broken down as follows: 7 one-bedroom units and 2 two-bedroom units. The project includes a total of 10 parking spaces, including 1 ADA accessible space consistent with the TOD parking regulations that account for proximity to high-capacity transit. Landscaping plans will be submitted at the time of permitting and are expected to meet all the applicable code requirements, including trees, shrubs, planting to enhance the visual character of the site. If not, landscaping mitigation shall be provided. The rezoning request is accompanied by a variance application seeking the following: allowed a single-use residential building where a vertical mix of uses is required in the TOD zoning district, allowed low coverage of 62% where a maximum of 60% is permitted for low-rise buildings, allowed a front setback of 14.4 feet where 17 feet are required for the ground floor, allowed a side setback of 0 feet for the dumpster enclosure where 2 feet is the minimum required, allow 11% pervious area where the minimum is 15% required. While the proposed development includes multiple variances, The intensity and use are consistent with the TOD master plan designation for this site, which envision low-rise multifamily development adjacent to major transit infrastructure towards, the outer boundaries of the TOD neighborhood. The building architecture provides a strong corner presence and contributes positively to the urban character of the area, reinforcing the TOD goals and of walkability, moderate density, and reduced vehicle dependency. The site location on a corner lot within walking distance of the Hialeah Trial Rail Metro Transfer Station and less than a mile from the Hialeah Hospital supports the proposed intensity and promotes the kind of transit adjacent development envisioned by the city planning strategy. The lot positions on the edge of the single-family neighborhoods and adjacent to the industrial uses. It also provides a logical transition between the land use intensities. The proposed rezoning and associated variances are consistent with the TOD master plan vision for the low-rise development near the transfer station, the site corner lot location, adjacency to transit infrastructure, and eligibility for affordable housing incentives make it appropriate for the proposed intensity. The variances requested are modest and justified by the context of the policy alignment. According to the TOD regulations, the Design Review Committee has reviewed the proposal and is providing the following recommendations. The applicant is to proffer a declaration of restricted covenants to include 2 residential apartments to be offered for rent and no more than 80% AMI, and the applicant is to develop the site according to the plans and renderings prepared by Manny Reos Architects, signed and sealed, dated June 19, 2025. Recommendations approval with conditions.
Thank you. Manny?
Yes, basically on the land use, we made the presentation, so there's very little to say on my behalf. I think this is going to be a beautiful building in that corner, and it's going to make the neighborhood look a lot nicer. Eventually, it'll get nicer after this building, we hope. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask me.
Thank you, sir. Comments or questions from the board? Anyone in the audience? Anyone in the electronic audience? Close to the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve
With conditions?
with conditions. Second that motion.
We had a motion by Mr. Iglesias, second by Mr. Ulloa. Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez. Yes. Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mr. Morales.
Yes.
Item has been approved with conditions.
Thank you.
Item number 5, rezoning property from RO Residential Office District to C2 Liberal Retail Commercial District. Variance permit to allow front setback of 15 feet where 20 feet is the minimum required. Property is located at 1410 West 68th Street, Hialeah zoned RO Residential Office District. Applicant Frank de la Paz on behalf of S&S Investors Corporation.
Hello, Frank. You want to identify yourself?
Good evening, Frank De La Paz, 11,000 Southwest 104th Street, Miami.
Thank you, sir.
The property in this application is located on the south side of West 68th Street between West 14th Avenue and West 15th Court. The lot is approximately 12,025 square feet or 0.27 acre and is currently improved with a dental office constructed in 2004 according to Miami-Dade County Property Appraisal's record. The property is designated as commercial on the city's future land use map following a land use amendment from residential office to commercial granted by ordinance number 2020-080. However, the current zoning designation remains RO, Residential Office District, which was granted under ordinance number 2003-05, resulting in an inconsistency between the land use and the zoning designations. The surrounding land use designations and zoning districts are as follow. To the north, low and medium density residential zone R1, one family district, and R3, multifamily district. To the east, low density residential and residential office zone R1 and RO. To the south, low density residential zone R1, and to the west, commercial zone C2, liberal retail commercial district. The applicant is before the city requesting to rezone the property from RO, Residential Office District, to C2, Liberal Commercial District, to obtain consistency between the land use designation and zoning classification. The rezoning is also being requested to allow the continued operation of the existing dental office without the limitations imposed by the RO zoning, which restrict both the number of business tax receipts permitted and the type of allowable business uses. The applicant is also requesting a variance to allow the existing front setback of 15 feet, where a minimum of 20 feet is required under the C2 zoning regulations. The existing structure was originally developed in accordance with the RO, Residential Office District requirements, which permitted a 15-foot front setback. However, due to the proposed rezoning, the property is now subject to the variance. The property complies with all other setback requirements and provide the required 16 parking spaces. It also includes the dumpster enclosure located at the rear of the property and exceeds the minimum pervious area requirement. No expansions or alterations to the main structure are being proposed. Therefore, the existing conditions on the property will remain unchanged and it will not be impacted. The properties directly west of the subject site are developed with commercial uses, including insurance agencies and law offices. Furthermore, the city recently approved a mixed-use development 2 parcels west of the property, which will feature retail space on the ground floor and multifamily residential units above the ground. All properties fronting West 68th Street between West 14th Avenue and West 15th Court are currently used for commercial purposes, making this application consistent and compatible with the surrounding development. Given that the property has been operating as a commercial use since 2004, it's compatible with the surrounding development, and the request setback variance is reasonable considering the regional development of the site, and that no changes are proposed that it will impact existing conditions or surrounding properties. As staff recommends approval. Additionally, the rezoning will achieve consistency between the future land use designation and the zoning classification. Recommendation approval.
Thank you. Frank?
I'll be happy to answer any question. We developed this property back in 2004. Now the dentist, he has 2 daughters that they would like to continue to practice. And basically just because of the license limitations. Besides, the neighborhood have changed. There's a lot of new development on 68th Street. So it will be detrimental to the property to continue to be an RO when C2 will be more consistent with what's going on in the neighborhood.
That building has come before us so many times in the past, man, for different offices.
I understand, but now I do believe it's final. Univida bought it, and I believe they're going to redevelop that property finally.
No, I don't mean your particular office. I'm talking about the building itself.
Yeah.
It's been before us for, many times for different applications.
This address, no.
No, the building itself.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
And if you have any questions, comments from the board?
You're the chair.
Yes, sir.
Is this gonna be the same project involved with the Univista that they're doing the big?
No,
No, they're independent. There's
no,
Independent.
Yeah.
this 1410 will remain exactly as it is. Nothing is changing. It's going to be Dr. Mendigutia's office and his expanding family.
So you're not gonna change the building or anything, it's gonna just change the
Nothing. That will cost money, and we don't want to do that.
Only gonna change the zoning, okay.
So currently, the RO zoning district is very limited. They can only have 2 business tax receipts.
Okay,
And as he's playing, the doctor actually has 2 daughters, so now they will require to have 3 business tax receipts for the operation of that, and then they're not allowed to do that.
You-
So hopefully they are all, already
understood.
operating.
Okay. Comments or questions?
By the
Anyone
way,
else?
has no relevance, but my wife do drive a Mercedes. And she
Go.
sometimes sits me on the back seat.
I know.
You started
it. Here we go. Anyway. Frank, I tell you, man, you're unique. There's anyone in the audience have a comment or question? Any more comments for the board? Okay, what's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
second that motion.
We had a motion by Mrs. Zarita, second by Mr. Ulysses. Mr. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Mr. Morales?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. Ulysses?
Yes.
Item has been approved.
Well, Frank, I drive a very politically incorrect big diesel truck. Not the one that smokes. Okay, but still.
All right. Well,
All right.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Item number 6. Variance permit to allow 47 parking spaces where 101 parking spaces are required for the operation of an existing CrossFit and MMA gym. and to allow 8.4% pervious area where 10% pervious area is the minimum required. Property is located at 6440 West 20th Avenue, Hialeah Zone M1 Industrial District. Applicant MMA Masters LLC on behalf of Palmetto Flex Park LLC.
Mark Scavuzzo, TM Design Architects. I'm here to represent MMA for the parking variance.
Thank you.
This property is located west of the Palmetto Expressway and north of West 64th Street. The parcel is approximately 33,159 square feet or 0.76 acres and is currently improved with a warehouse of approximately 19,500 square feet developed in 1986.
Yeah.
So the lot is 0.76 acre and is currently improved with a warehouse of approximately 19,500 square feet developed in 1986, according to the Miami-Dade County Property Appraisals record. The property to the north, owned by the same entity, shares the rear parking area with the warehouse, and the existing land use designation is industrial with a compatible zoning classification of industrial M1 zoning district. The property operated as a warehouse until 2019, according to the city's business tax records. Since then, no business tax approval has been received to operate any other type of business. A code enforcement case is active according to BTR-002996-2024 for the operation of a CrossFit and a gym at the location since 2022, as per city records. Since the property was developed according to the M1 zoning district regulation and as a unifying project with the North Warehouse, the applicant is submitting this variance application to allow the existing South Warehouse to operate a CrossFit and gym with fewer parking spaces than required. The proposed uses require a total of 101 parking spaces, whereas the south parcel is only providing 47 parking spaces. In addition, the north parcel has an additional of 20 parking spaces. In order to support the parking variance request, the applicant has stated that the CrossFit business and will operate between 6:30 p.m. and 9 p.m., and the gym will operate before noon. In addition, all their clients are by appointment only. The pervious area provided is also less than the minimum required. Therefore, the applicant is requesting an additional variance to provide 8.4% of pervious areas where 10% is required. Staff is proposing that the applicant proffers a declaration of restrictions establishing the uses and operation of the warehouses, since any additional commercial activity will create a higher parking demand for the properties. Recommendation: approval with conditions.
Thank you.
We're okay with the
Questions?
conditions that she's outlined. Here again, it's a business that, actually I brought them to Hialeah. They used to be Mary's Carpet, and then it was Bryan Trading, which was a textile company, where they did, where they sold textiles. So when the gym, when they went out of business, it was a perfect opportunity for them to come in, since they had to take all the equipment out to bring the CrossFit in at nighttime. So this worked out pretty good. So the MMA, they're during the morning time, maybe 10 or 15 people, they're professional MMA boxers. And then in the afternoon, it's CrossFit. And there's about 15 to 20 women.
Okay, thank you. Comments or questions? Anyone in the audience? Anyone in the electronic audience? All right, what's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve with conditions.
Second the motion with conditions.
We had a motion by Mrs. Enriquez, second by Mr. Iglesias. Mr. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Mr. Morales?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez? Yes. Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Item has been approved with conditions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're excited to see MMA here in Hialeah too. Thank you.
Even though it had,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
we'll fix it.
We'll fix that tomorrow.
That was the issue.
Yes, that was the only issue. Okay, so item number 7, the applicant has actually requested to table the item.
Okay.
Did he say for the next meeting?
Yes.
Okay. So we will need a motion to table.
So we can just postpone it. We can postpone till the,
Okay.
on the record, so we'll postpone until August
Till August 27th.
27th at 5:30.
So item number
6 o'clock.
seven.
Need a motion?
We
for
don't
that?
need a motion. We
No?
can just postpone.
Okay.
So item number 7 has been postponed until August 27th.
Okay.
Item number 8. Ordinance of the Mayor and the City Council of the City of Hialeah, Florida, amending the Hialeah Code of Ordinances, Chapter 74, entitled Signs, Article 3, Regulations, Division 1, generally, and creating a new section 74-152 entitled Off-Site Signs, placing signs, advertisement, or displayed on any portion of the public right-of-way, street, or sidewalk surface, and providing for definitions, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for penalties for violations hereof, providing for a severability clause, and providing for inclusion in the code, and providing for an effective date.
Okay,
Through the chair,
yes.
the city has been, it's, you know, faced with an opportunity actually to install, signage, that they are classified as billboards because they're signs outside of the commercial location of the business. And these signs actually are the ones that are placed on, in locations where you have a high pedestrian, activity, in areas where there's, you know, commercial activity as well, but they're placed on the right of way, probably in the sidewalk, okay? And these are the type of signage that you see in the city of Miami, that you see in Tampa, that you see in Orlando, where they have different kind of marketings. And this is an opportunity that the city has actually to create some revenues, but we needed to amend the billboard, section of the code because it will be considered that type of signage. In order to tidy it up, actually, what we drafted in the ordinance is every time that we have a proposal, it will be through a contract. So it's not going to be that somebody can come and apply for it. It will be a company applying for this type of signage, and then it will have to go and approved by council. There are several areas that they can be prone, and it will be better suited for this type of signage, but it's not going to be for the entire, you know, city. So they will be carefully be vetted, the contractor, the locations, and that we have the infrastructure in place, because this billboard, one of the main components is that they have an EV charger component. So that is going to be the attention driven by these areas, that you're going to be able to be allowed to charge your EV vehicles. And that location, in addition with these chargers, they will have a marketing, and that is going to be the producer, the income producer for that. And then the city can create revenue out of those locations.
I think that's great because we need that in the city.
Yeah, we don't have very many EV chargers here, do we?
We have no many, right? Besides the ones on,
Well, they just put
49.
one on 49th Street by the Wendy's.
by Wendy's, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think that's about the only one that I've seen.
That is public, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm, yeah. So this will create not only an opportunity for the residents, a service, but also an income-driven opportunity also for the city.
Great, perfect.
Thank you. Comments or questions? All right. Anyone in the audience? All right, what's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Second. So we had a motion by Mr. Ulloa, second by Mrs. Enriquez. Mr. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Mr. Morales?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Item has been approved. Miscellaneous item not requiring advertising. Item number 9, old business?
Any old business?
No old business. Item number 10, new business?
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
Just a quick legislative update. Typically, this board sees final plats come before you for approval or for recommendation of denial. Starting on July 1st of this year, the Florida legislature has enacted a new statutory requirement that says that all final plats and replats are to be done administratively. So you will no longer see before this board a final plat or a replat before you. We're in the process through Claudia and her department to create an administrative process for final plats to be approved or denied. So that would be done administratively. That will no longer be done via ordinance, and it would be sent to the county once an administrative approval is issued by the city.
Okay, does that mean that I still have to sign it or?
Not anymore.
Not anymore? Okay. Oh, I'm gonna miss that. Having to make that special trip over here. Okay. If there's no other business,
Just make sure that you take your pins, the 100 years anniversary in
Yes.
front of you. So-
very nice,
Thank
very nice. Thank you.
If you want to.
Okay.